I wasn't born in Africa. Africa is not the name of that place. That's something that a white man named Leo Africanus. And I know there's probably some Egyptologists and some chematologists and it's some super sensitive, aware, conscious brother that can debate that and come up with 50,000 facts to prove me wrong. But where I come from and what I learned, I was born in South Carolina. That's where my family comes from. South Carolina. Okay, I can't go no further back than that. Do I want to? Hey, it's not really important to me where I come from. What's important to me is where I'm going. This is America, Turtle Island. My people was here first, so I don't have to go back to Africa. The world is what I claim as my land. The original man can claim any land where he stands because the other man sure seemed to claim whatever land he stands. How can you discover a land full of people and claim it for yourself? That would be like me walking into the parking lot and discovering a Range Rover and claiming it for myself. I discovered this Range Rover and claim it in the name of Eric Joseph Banks, and I shall now drive off because it's mine. No, that violates the laws of nature and man. You can't do that. Now, I say all that to say welcome to the Sports Talk from the Track with me, Brother Jamal, Brother EJ, in the house, E-Bizzle, live with my man Solar, Sixers fan. See, he got the Sixers hat.
No doubt, you know we represent.
I got the Phillies hat. You know, I represent my town. I don't understand you pump faking, flip flopping, bandwagon fraud fans. If you can't tell me about Austin Carr, if you can't tell me the shot, if you can't tell me about Craig Elo, if you can't tell me about Larry Nance, if you can't tell me about Ron Harper, then you can't talk to me about being a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. What you can talk to me about is being a pump-faking LeBron James, ball-clapping, dick-eating fraud. That's what you can talk to me about. You don't like it? Prove me wrong. Show me that you was a Cleveland Cavaliers fan before LeBron came there, and I'll believe you. Can you do it? Post pictures of somebody in a Cleveland Cavs jersey that's not from Cleveland or the Ohio area before LeBron James got there. That is the EBO Bizzle Sports Talk Challenge for the day. Anybody listening, please find me a picture of a Cavaliers fan not from Cleveland, Ohio or the Ohio area posted on Instagram or Facebook before LeBron James was drafted to go to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'll wait.
Well, Cleveland wasn't really that bad of a team in the 90s. They had Mark Rice.
That's my point. So where is all the tons and tons of Cleveland fans? Where were they? I asked about Larry Nance. Nobody said anything. I remember the shot. I remember Craig Elo. That was a 5-game series. People say Michael Jordan never went 7 games. Well, back in them days, they only went 5. And Cleveland was the favorite, not Jordan. So, again, if it's about being a fan of a team, if it's about being a fan of quality basketball, like you said, Cleveland had great players. Cleveland had great players. So, yes, Brad Daugherty, quite a few players. And they won 50 games every year. So why don't they have a big, gigantic Cleveland fan base? I'll give you another example. Karl Malone and John Stockton, 2 of the greatest players to ever lace up the boots. Utah, 50 wins every single year. In anybody's definition of power forward, you got to put Karl Malone at the top 3. You could call him a cowboy. You could call him a weirdo. You could call him a sellout. But one thing you got to call him is one of the best power forwards who ever played the game of basketball. And if you say he's not, you, my friend, are a fraud. You, my friend, are somebody who lets your personal feelings and beliefs get in the way of scientific sports fact. And now, again, we're going back to what I said. If it's all about basketball and winning, where is the big, gigantic Utah Jazz fan base? You don't have it. Golden State been winning for a long time. They may not have won a championship. Oops, excuse me, they did win a championship, and that's something else you Golden State bandwagon flip-floppers don't know. Golden State has won 2 championships, maybe even 3. Did you know that Golden State actually started out in Philadelphia? You idiots. Wilt Chamberlain played for the Philadelphia Warriors. The Warriors moved to San Francisco. That's why we got the 76ers. And they weren't called the 76ers, they were called the Syracuse Nationals. When they came here, they changed their name to the 76ers. See, every time OGE Bizzle opens his mouth, you learn something. Whether you want to or not, you have no choice. I guarantee you 75% of the Sixers fans had no clue about that. 99.9% of the Golden State Warrior fans had no clue that the Golden State Warriors started out in Philadelphia. You also have no clue that the Golden State Warriors have already won an NBA championship before Steph Curry got there. If you don't know about Rick Barry, if you don't know about Clifford Ray, then you can't talk to me about being a Golden State fan. Because guess what? As much as I hate them cockroach flip-flopping, broke-back Cowboy fans, most Cowboy fans can tell you everything about the Super Bowl teams, even the ones that happened before they were born. So if you were a true Golden State fan, you would know Rick Barry. Rick Barry, don't talk to me about being a Golden State fan. I'm sorry, you're not. You're a flip-flopping, ball-clapping, dick-eating Steph Curry fan. The same way I just got on you LeBron fans. You're not fans of teams. You're fans of players. That makes you a fanboy. That makes you a ball clapper. That makes you a hero worshiper. That makes you a fraud who cannot stand on your own 2 feet. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. If you don't like it, prove me wrong. Show me the Golden State fan base before they started winning. Show me the Golden State fan base before Steph Curry. They've had a lot of great players. Like I said, Rick Barry, Clifford Ray, Sleepy Floyd, Tim Mullins, Chris Mullins, Tim Hardaway. Yo, bro, they had the first big 3. Chris Hardaway, Tim Hardaway, Chris Mullins, and Chris Webber. By any definition of a big 3, that was a big 3. They all were all-stars, and they all averaged over 20 points a game. Check it out if you don't believe me. The NBA was so good in those days that they had a big 3 in Golden State that averaged 20 points a game. They even had their own nickname, Run TMC. To make the playoffs. That's how good basketball used to be. That you would have 50-win teams like the Atlanta Hawks, and you probably couldn't name 5 players on the Atlanta Hawks today that was as good as Dominique Wilkins, Spud Webb, Dan Roundfield, Scott Wedman, and them boys. Come on, bro. The only reason they don't have championships is because of Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas. Let's not forget about Isaiah Thomas. See, people don't like Isaiah personally. People have an issue with some of the things he says. People have an issue with some of the sexual situations that he may or may not have found himself in. And I'm not going to go there, but, you know, it's been things alleged in New York when he was with the Knicks. It was things alleged between him and, you know, my man with the Lakers. You know, things have been alleged. I'm not going to go there because I don't like it when people allege about me. Whatever it is, I don't like it because I know who I am and what I'm into. If you got a question you want to ask me, you can ask me. Don't be going to my homie. Don't be going to no chick that you think I know. Don't be going to no internet site or no Facebook page questioning about me. I love to talk. I love to talk about me. And I know me better than anybody else. So if you got a question about me, ask me. I'll tell you the answer. The point I'm trying to make is, it seems to me that talk about ideas. Regular people talk about things. Small, hating, insignificant, mealy-mouthed, vicarious, basement, grandma dwelling, internet tough guys and Facebook divas talk about other people.
So you was going to build on LeBron James and
it's all the same. LeBron James, Steph Curry, they're not fans of teams, they're fans of players. And as soon as LeBron James leaves Cleveland, all his fans will go with him. What happened to the Miami Heat fans? What happened to Heat Nation? Everybody used to be running around with Miami Heat hats, Dwayne Wade jerseys, LeBron James jerseys. What happened? LeBron left, and so did Heat Nation.
I thought you were talking about the situation that
I was going to get into that, but that's not my point. America is a racist country. Who needs that proof? See, this is my problem with that. When it happens to LeBron James, when it happens to Oprah Winfrey, it's big news. But when it happens to me or you, shoulder shrugs. So the point of the matter is that it happens 24 hours a day. You're black 24 hours a day. And you being a rich millionaire, multi-millionaire athlete, out of props and entertainment value to this society means nothing. My dad used to tell me, you know what they call a rich doctor in Virginia? I said, what? The same thing as they call a poor nigga in Virginia. Nigga. You're a nigga in America. And that's what you always will be to certain people, no matter how much money you make. Chris Rock said, you know who his neighbors are? Plumbers. Joe the plumber, Larry the dentist. In order to live in his neighborhood in Jersey, everybody black got to be Russell Simmons, Lawrence Taylor. You have to be extraordinary to be an African American and be rich in America. All you got to do to be rich in America is be white and work hard. And not even work hard. Donald Trump ain't never worked a day in his life. And several of my friends that I grew up with when I went to West Catholic was independently wealthy and only went to school because their parents made it. They already had plumbing businesses. They already had cleaning businesses that their people supported, and they would never have to work for anybody else a day in their life. And they knew this being born. What black kid can say that? So this is what we talk about when we talk about inequality. This is what Colin Kaepernick is talking about when he says what he says. People say blue lives matter, all lives matter. That's true. But death and destruction is an occupational hazard of being a police officer. It's not an occupational hazard of being a citizen of the United States. The possibility that you may lose your life is a job description of a police officer. The possibility that you may lose your life at the hands of a police officer through no fault of your own when you have no criminal record or no firearm. And it keeps happening over and over and over and over again. And people are just supposed to ignore this.
Is it okay?
No. Colin Kaepernick stood up. Muhammad Ali stood up. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar stood up. Bill Russell stood up. And finally, I'm getting into my point. LeBron James stood up. And a lot of people like to badmouth LeBron. They like to say sellout. They like to throw the word coon around. They like to talk about the decision. You know, they like to talk about in the clutch, how he's 3-4 in the finals. You want to know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about how he has no criminal record. I want to talk about how there's not been one scandal attached to his name since he's been in the NBA. I want to talk about how all his childhood friends, unlike the leeching posse members, unlike the leeching entourages of most athletes, actually have legitimate jobs and positions in his business, which he pays them for. I want to talk about how he's a father. I want to talk about how he married his childhood sweetheart, how he don't have no baby mama drama, how he don't have no DUIs, how you don't have none of his friends get locked up in cars, strangling coaches. Never been attached to his name, yet he is hated and vilified. Why? For being too good at what he do. The man has been to 7 straight NBA championships. 7 straight. We could talk about the refs. We could talk about flopping. We could talk about picking teams. But the man is 6'8", 250 and possesses a skill set unknown to the NBA in history, on top of the fact of all the personal characteristics that I just described. I love my man AI, but come on. Come on. I love Latrell Sprewell, but come on. Jones, but come on. And I keep going on and on and on and on and on. Charles Barkley, your jacket ain't too clean either. Brother, if you was in this day and age doing what you was doing back in the 90s, you wouldn't be the Charles Barkley that we know today. You'd have been out the NBA for spitting on that little white girl. Yeah. How many times Charles get caught with 9mm? How many times Charles got caught DUI? Charles Barkley once threw somebody through a plate glass window at a bar in a drunken fight. Keep going. Charles Barkley is an egregious serial offender. So how dare he get on the mic and be somebody's judge, jury, and execution? My God. And I'm not just pointing Charles Barkley out. I'm just saying it because we're talking about sports. And I'm talking about the image of LeBron James. LeBron James has none of these things attached to his name. None of them.
Did you watch that Charles Barkley doing Race in America?
Charles Barkley is not qualified to talk about race in America. Charles Barkley is married to a snow bunny. That doesn't mean anything to me, but what it does mean to me is Charles Barkley is from the South. Charles Barkley is from Alabama. Charles Barkley grew up in Bull Connor, Alabama. Charles Barkley grew up in bloody Selma. Charles Barkley remembers the Birmingham bombing when the 4 little black girls were blown to bits in Birmingham, Alabama. Charles Barkley remembers that. Charles Barkley remembers people getting hung. Charles Barkley is a victim of white supremacy and white power, and most African-American athletes who I've seen, let me not say most, let me say a large majority of African-American athletes from the South always seem to end up with a woman who does not look like themselves, because the image of beauty is the Southern Belle, driving Miss Daisy, the lemonade, the mint julep, the Kentucky Derby broad. Yeah. So subliminally, you got the bag, you got the fame, you got the admiration, and all you need now is the trophy snow bunny to go with it. It's subliminal, man. They don't even see it coming. And then people are going to say, oh, that's racist. No, that's real. That's real. And my point to you is, sure, there's probably thousands of black athletes from the South that don't fit that description. But what about the hundreds and hundreds that do? When there are several qualified sisters in those areas that could provide just as better or just as good a service or just as good a situation. So why? Because that's what you're groomed to do. I never went to no big super duper college school, but the college that I did go to was predominantly not African American. The choices of females that I had to pick were predominantly not African American. The choices were already economically and socially situated for success. So if I had chose that lane, I would have been good no matter what happened. And when you have those opportunities presented to you on a consistent basis, based on your athletic superiority, a lot of times it's kind of hard to say no. And said no. He's still with his childhood sweetheart. He's still with his childhood friends. They're all getting money together. And LeBron James stood up and said something. And I'm not a LeBron James fan by any means, shape, or form when I say that. I'm a LeBron James supporter, but I'm a Sixers fan. If you don't play for the Sixers, and if you're not helping the Sixers win, or the Flyers win, or the Phillies win, or the Eagles win, man, as a black man, I'm proud of you. Get money, do what you do, but I could care less personally if it don't affect Philly. But I'm just speaking as a man, as an opinion on society, on America, about how when a racist act is committed against a famous person, magically all of a sudden we're all up in arms. But when it happens every single day, it's business as usual, and y'all need to get over it. I'm here to tell you that no other people on the face of the earth is constantly told to get over it. Nobody tells people to get over the Holocaust. They still praying for France, and that just happened 3 or 4 years ago, and all that was a terrorist attack. We got 200 million of our ancestors laying at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, and you telling me to get over it. I can Google a picture right now of hangings, castrations. Wah, 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 wah. But you tell me to get over it. You tell me that the Black Panthers were a hate group, and you had to disband them, but yet you can't find one picture of a Black Panther standing under a tree with somebody hanging and swinging and people selling barbecue parts and taking pictures like it's a goddamn football game. But those same hangings and castrations that I told you about 5 minutes ago, look at the people that's around them when that's going on. Smiling, grinning, taking pictures. And this is less than 60 years ago. And you keep telling me to get over it, but it's still going on. It's still going on. It just happened last week when a young man was on Maryland's campus and was stabbed to death. And they automatically called it a hate crime. I didn't have to call it a hate crime. He called it a hate crime because the dude that stabbed him is online with very virulent and vociferous verbal attacks against non-Caucasian people, talking about what he's going to do, what he wants to do. Now, you ban me from Facebook, I get dragged into my job for situations just for voicing opinions to facts. These are all facts. I'm not making any of this stuff up. But this guy was going on and on for months about what he going to do to black people. Nothing was done to him. His Facebook page wasn't taken down. So I say all that to say that America is a very violent place. We respect violence more than we respect education. That's why they got a museum dedicated to Al Capone. Chicago, they got the Al Capone Museum. What did Al Capone do to get a museum? Kill people, sell liquor, ruin people's lives. Yeah, they have an Al Capone Museum in Chicago. Yes, because America is a criminal country. We love criminals. We worship criminals. The entire country of America is a continuing criminal enterprise. CEO, criminal enterprise organization. And the president is the head of it. He's the face, brother. You know? So I say all that to say that I'm proud of LeBron James for standing up. But like he said, being black in America is a hard thing, no matter how much money or fame you have. Because at any moment, you can have an NIGGER moment for the positive and for the negative. You know, everybody don't know you LeBron James. To some people, you just a 6'9", 250-pound big black, you know what? Unfortunately, it seems that the jealousy and anger quotient that Donald Trump's America has instituted, and yes, it was jealousy and anger before Donald Trump, but it seems to me that similar to how the population felt a little bit better about themselves when President Obama was elected, because I know personally what I felt joy because now when I tell little Jamal Jefferson, or when I tell little Tony Robinson, or when I tell little Andre Carter that you got a chance to grow up to be anything you want, including the president, now I feel like I'm not lying to them. I was happy that President Obama was elected. But I think that several of the people who voted for Donald Trump only voted for him because they were sick and tired of the black man running the country and they couldn't bear a woman running the country. So Donald Trump is better than a black man and he's better than a woman. And the only reason I believe this is because the man got 60% of the women vote. Not just white women, not just black women, all women. 60% of the women voted for Donald Trump. A man who said that he's comfortable grabbing Yamin by the Yamin. Had said that he would never got elected. Obama had said, you know, if my daughter wasn't my daughter, she's so hot, I might think about dating her. Donald Trump said this up to the election like it didn't happen. How can you be the president of the United States and be allowed to say things like that? This is a man who is supposed to be running this country, but yet he takes the time to get in the Twitter wars with meaningless rappers. Now, I'm not really saying Snoop Dogg is meaningless, but in the scale of world politics, the scope of the reality of being the president of the most powerful country in the world, why would you take the time to engage in anything with a rapper who ain't been hot in 20 years? What's the last hit that Snoop made? Now, I'm not knocking him. He don't have to make no other hits. You can put on anything off of Doggy Style and be dancing all night. He don't never have to make a record again. Living off of residuals off Doggy Style, living off residuals off Dre Day. Shit, he probably rich off of Soul Plane. Because I know more of y'all to watch Soul Plane than watch Hidden Colors. Let's keep it real. The comedy always sell better than the consciousness. Kevin Hart go on tour, Eddie Murphy go on tour, every second-rate comedian go on tour. My God, my man Keith from up the block is going on a tour. Show me a conscious tour. Show me a sold-out conscious tour.
Remember? You know what I'm saying? But he gave it some effort.
Yeah, but still, he was a comedian too. I'm saying, you know, a lot of that was based on him being a comedian. I'm saying a true consciousness tour. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm saying all that to say the people decide what's good.
I am Body Sports says, why can't Black Power empower Kaepernick? He put himself out there for us.
Indeed. I don't know why. Because I'm gonna tell you why. There's nobody just going to boycott the NFL.
They saying that in the context of they don't blame the celebrities no more, because when a celebrity comes out, they don't get the support from the community.
Bro, I don't know. I don't get the support from the community. I told AR Ab today, AR Ab put out a deep message about how, you know, when you tell your brother to stop selling drugs and do something better, and he actually does do something better, nobody buys a CD, t-shirt. Nobody buys his soul food platter. So then when he can't sell his soul food platter, when he can't sell his t-shirt, when he can't sell his CD and go back to the gun and the grizzly and get locked up, y'all call him stupid. But y'all the same boys that wouldn't support his effort when he tried to go to jail. So what makes you think it's going to be any different for Colin Kaepernick? Because guess what? At the end of the day, as much as I love what the brother said, he's still a multi-millionaire, isn't he? He still lives in a gated community with the same white folks he protested against, right? Right? He still is biracial. He still was brought up by a white family who seemed to show him a whole lot of love. These are facts too. This, you asked me about Colin Kaepernick. I'm going to ask you about timing. Kaepernick was the star of the NFL when Colin Kaepernick was taking off his clothes and posing like a booty boy on ESPN magazine, The Body. You can Google that too. Was on the cover of John Madden when Colin Kaepernick was winning NFC championships, when Colin Kaepernick was captaining the San Francisco 49ers against Ray Lewis and the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl. I sure didn't hear anything about Black Lives Matter. People was getting killed then too. Now, I'm not saying that he wasn't always like this, but the timing sure seems suspect. You're on the bench, and the so-called racist coach, Chip Kelly, comes to your organization. Magically, bang, you a Black Power warrior. I'm just saying. I'm not even advocating for the devil. I'm advocating for free thought, and I don't trust nobody. I don't even know why I do things sometimes. I have underlying motives and reasons for doing things. If people are entertained and educated and inspired by what I do, fine. But I'm not here to educate, entertain, or inspire. You know what I'm here to do? Get my shit off. This is like going to the bathroom for me. This is like a bowel movement. Information and all this passion and all this anger and all this love all flowing through me at one time. I got all these books and all these DVDs and all the wisdom of the ancestors flowing through me at all times. Plus I was a star athlete. Plus I was a superstar rapper. Plus I'm still a black man in America. And I got to deal with all that every single day. So I need to talk because people can be inspired, educated, and motivated by listening to me. But like I said, that's not why I do it. I do it for me. It makes me feel good. You should do for you. You talk about you do things for other people. Other people don't do nothing for you, but hey, people talk about I don't have no exterior motive. Yes, you do. Even if you don't want money, why do you even call a particular person? Because they make you feel good. You like the way they talk. You like the way they make you feel. You just like being around that person. You talk about you don't want something. You want the most important thing. My time that I can't get back. So we're all selfish, bro. You point the finger at me, the other three fingers is pointing right back at you. You say, OGE business, all you do is rant and talk about people. I'm talking about myself. I'm a human, you're a human too. I'm not above what I say. Think of myself. More people love me than I love myself. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get to go home tonight. No matter if these words offend, inspire, or educate, y'all get to go. I got to live with me 24 hours a day. You think I don't talk the same way to myself that I'm talking to you? You think this voice that's loud and passionate and articulate that I'm directing at you, you think it ain't in my head all the time, 24 hours a day? I can't escape myself. So, you know, I'm Philly, bro. This is what I do. I represent Philly 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Is a city that exudes the segregated racial strife that LeBron James experienced all the way out there in California. That happened to Bill Russell. That happened to Donovan McNabb. That happened to several prominent African-American athletes who had the temerity to think that their athletic accomplishments and their monetary status afforded them the same level of respect as a real American. As a student of American history, as a American history teacher, Google that too. My first job was a public school teacher, history teacher. Yes, I did that. Major, as a member of Phi Beta Theta Historical Society. These are all documented facts. And the reason I'm saying all this is, unfortunately, American men, especially African American men who have somewhat of a hip hop swag like I do, African American men who sometimes in their passion butcher the English language or use a malaprop or two, you are often dissuaded and put on the back burner as some kind of outlier, which means I lie outside of the typical view of the African American male. So it's kind of hard for me sometimes, bro. I'm kind of too articulate to be a regular boy in the hood, or in the hood to fit in with the buppies and the old phase. So I gotta create my own lane, my own space. So in doing that, I've been able to move about and escalate and down the ladder, up and down. Like, I don't have no level. I go wherever the action takes me. I go wherever the conversation takes me. We're gonna take it back to LeBron James and Steph Curry. It's as simple as this. It's subliminal as this. The darker you are, the more you the villain. The lighter you are, the more you the hero. Bottom line. We could spin it any kind of way. We could make all kind of excuses and scientific and opinionated emotional responses. But in America, the darker you are, the worse you are, the lighter you are, the better you are. My dad and them had a saying in the 30s. They said, if you black, get back. If you brown, you can stick around. But if you white, you all right. We always think the white man's ice is cold, bro. That's our problem. You know? And it takes somebody famous to get violated for America to listen. Because did you ever see Do the Right Thing? Yeah. Remember the part when Pino keeps going on about nigga this, nigga that, nigga this, and you niggas this and that. And finally, Mookie Spike Lee says, yo, Pino, man, come on with that nigga shit. Let me ask you something. You talk all this nigga shit, but all your favorite people, your favorite actor, Eddie Murphy, your favorite singer, Michael Jackson, your favorite basketball player, Magic Johnson, they're all black. So what the fuck? What? And he was like, but no, you know, Magic, Eddie, Prince, they're more than black. How is it that you can idolize and worship and let your kids wear the jerseys and sign the autographs and buy the promotional material of a LeBron James, a Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, or Allen Iverson? But then you can see somebody in the street that looks just like Allen Iverson in braids with a baggy t-shirt and Sixers hat, you lock your door on. So what is the strange phenomenon with that in sports? Dick Gregory said football is a strange sport. Football is the only time in America white folks would cheer for one black guy to pick up a white guy and bang him on his head. It's called sacking the quarterback. When you pick the quarterback up and dump him on the ground. Dick Gregory said that in the 60s. It's even more true today. But that same person who will cheer our first round draft pick, Eagles first round draft pick from Tennessee, broke all of Reggie White's records. Shout out to Reggie White. Rest in peace to Reggie White, the Minister of Defense. One of the three greatest defensive players I've ever seen play. Reggie White, Lawrence Taylor, and with all apologies to Jack Lambert and Mean Joe Green, Troy Polamalu, and all the other great defensive players who played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to have to go with Ronnie Lott. My three best defensive players of all time, Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, Ronnie Lott. Not necessarily in that order. But, yeah, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Cleveland, and Golden State. The original talk was, I don't like bandwagons. I don't like people who support players and not fans. Support players and not teams. And my original question was, show me a picture of a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. Show me a picture. Because back before LeBron came out 2002, 2003. Rage. So, if you was a throwback ball, you had throwbacks of all teams. It wasn't just the city that you represented. that you had throwbacks. I got a Larry Bird throwback. I hate the Celtics. I got a Magic Johnson throwback. I got a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar throwback. I got a lot of throwbacks to support because the throwback wave overcame your Philly wave. So my point is that if there were Cleveland Cavalier fans, why did I never see anybody even in the Cleveland Cavalier throwback? Mark Price was a great player. He had a throwback. Brad Daugherty had a throwback. Nobody ever rocked him. I never seen nobody with a Cleveland Cavs. Even had an Austin Carr throwback. If you are a Cleveland Cavs fan, Google Austin Carr. He was the star player of the Cleveland Cavs in the 70s. See, it's real with me. I'm a real fan. So I have a problem with you fly-by-night fakes who just come in on the bandwagon, come in on the tail wave. You there for the glory, but you wasn't there for the grind. So I say all that to say once again, show me a picture of a Cleveland Cavaliers fan in a jersey before LeBron James came. They don't exist. Show me a picture of a Miami Heat fan right now in a jersey that's not LeBron James and they're not from Miami. It don't exist. So my point is that people ride waves. They ride waves. You got some Laker fans like Federico Fellini, my man Benito Santiago, Will Mega, Jerome Herring, the late Mike Brown. They was Laker fans before Magic got there. They was born Laker fans. They liked the Lakers. They stuck around when Worthy and Perkins left. They was Laker fans when it was Eldon Campbell and Nick Van Exel and Eddie Jones. They was Laker fans when A.C. Green was the last American virgin. They was Laker fans when Kurt Rambis and Norm Nixon was wearing them tight-ass punk panties when their penis might pop out. They was Laker fans when Jack Nicholson had a full head of hair and was at that front side seat that he's still at 40 years later. Laker fans before Kobe got there. They was Laker fans during Kobe. They was Laker fans after Shaq left. And they was Laker fans last year with that trash that they had on the court with Brandon Russell. They didn't leave. They didn't flip-flop. I propose that some Laker fans are just Kobe fans, are just Magic fans. And they come and go and ride with the tide. As it was just AI fans. And now the AI ain't there and the team is down. Nobody rocks Sixer gear no more, except true Sixer fans like my man. The Phillies have the worst record in baseball right now, as we speak. The Philadelphia Phillies have the worst record in baseball. But guess what? I was wearing when they was playing at the Vet and losing 100 games a year, and I'm still wearing Philly hats now. I was wearing Philly hats when they won the World Series in 2008. I was wearing Philly hats when they lost to the Yankees in 2009. Championship or bottom of the basement, I represent my city. To be a 4-for-4 guy, you have to root for the Yankees and the Mets because, well, you can't root for the Yankees and the Mets. That's against tradition in New York. Okay, you don't have to just root for the Yankees, the Giants, and the Knicks if you live in New York. You can root for any team you want. But the point I'm trying to make is be consistent with that fandom. Antonio Spur fan when David Robinson and Tim Duncan is winning, and then abandon them when Kawhi break his foot and they get swept, and you ain't rocking your Spurs gear no more, and it ain't Spurs Nation. Don't come out of the closet, cockroach Cowboy fan, when y'all 12-4, but when y'all one and done like y'all do the few times y'all get to the playoffs, make sure you still on Instagram and Facebook talking that how about them boys shit then. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a front runner. Don't be a fraud. Don't be a Golden State fan and don't know who Latrell Sprewell is. State fan and not even know where Golden State is. Now, I told you that last week. I tried to make a bunch of excuses why it's justified to support a team and not know where that team is at. Okay, I'll give you, you could be a fan and not have gone to the game because the games are pretty expensive and everybody can't afford tickets. If you are a fan of a team that don't live in your area, then you got to worry about plane fare and all that. So I'm not going to punish you for that. But if you are a team, if you are a fan of a team and you don't even know where that team is located, you're not got a problem with that. And it's not just the young people. I'm not going to mention no names, but y'all know what I do for a living. Let's just say I work in a court building and I work with college educated people. So I would assume that a college-educated person would know where Golden State is. This whole week, we've been arguing about Golden State and LeBron. And during the course of the conversation, I would talk about how bad the youth is with not knowing about things outside of their neighborhood, not knowing things about their circle of circumference. And I found out that a lot of adults don't know either. Know where Golden State is. And they'd be like, wow, I don't know where it's at either. Which I find amazing because common sense would tell you, well, common sense ain't that common, but gold, okay, gold. Gold was found where? In California. California is known as the Sunshine State. Sun is the color of gold. Golden Gate Bridge is in San Francisco. I don't understand how people's minds don't work like that. Like, right. Because you don't have any common sense. You don't have.
Well, don't nobody know about the what 1849 Gold Rush? I know about the 49ers. Like, where did they get the name from?
Okay, but you should know about that, especially if you got a neck full of gold. People is dumb. How could you drive a BMW and not know what a BMW stands for? And more likely, how could you drive a BMW and not care what it stands for? Justify that. Explain that. You drive a car, you don't know where it's made, you don't know what it's made from, you don't know where it come from. Like, to me, that's insane. That's insane. But yet you know everything about the drug you use. You know everything about the female you trying to associate with. You could be all in somebody's DM and follow their Facebook page, but you don't even know the name of the car that you drive, what it stands for. Priorities, maybe. You know? I'm just saying. And once again, this is where knowledge comes in. People use fluoride every day in their toothpaste. I can tell you right now, go to one of the ingredients in rat poison and you will see fluoride. Knowing that, you will still wake up tonight before you go out and brush your teeth with toothpaste full of rat poison. You can read it right now. Fluoride has rat poison. Fluoride was used by Hitler in the gas chamber to kill the Jews. This is true. This is fact. So why is fluoride in our water? And why is fluoride an ingredient in our toothpaste? And better yet, if you know this, why do you still continue to use toothpaste with fluoride? So why would I even bother to debate or entertain people about what you think about me when I'm telling you to your face that you can plainly go look up that fluoride is an active ingredient in rat poison? And you will still go to bed tonight and brush your teeth with rat poison. You will still wake up tomorrow and brush your teeth with rat poison and justify it and argue me down. So why would I even bother to care what any of you think about it? I mean, I'm just saying, I'm doing the show. I love the show. I deal with people's opinions and ideas. But at the end of the day, I can't be bothered with worrying about what somebody thinks who will continually put poison in their body after they're told that what they're putting in their body is poison. After they're told to go look it up. And then they won't even look it up because they're too fearful that what I'm saying might actually be true. They know it's true. That's why they don't want to look it up. I don't want to hear that. Well, guess what? I don't want to hear who fucking who. I don't want to hear about LeBron James and Delonte West's mom. I don't want to hear about that. But yet you keep talking about that type of stuff. So why can't I talk about something helpful? Don't you think it's helpful to know that rat poison and fluoride is the same thing? I'm just saying. I think that would be helpful to know. I think it would be interesting to know that BMW stands for Bavarian Motor Works. Well, why did they call it Bavarian Motor Works? Because Germany wasn't always a unified company. It wasn't always a unified country. They had states like they do here. And one of the states was called Bavaria. Just like you got Bavarian chocolate. But people could care less. They're not interested in being educated. They're not interested in knowing where things come from. I always found that interesting. For instance, I told you, the 76ers. They came from Syracuse, the Syracuse Nationals. The reason they came was because the Warriors moved to San Francisco. The Warriors, Golden State, used to be in Philadelphia. You probably find that amazing. To me, that's just an average, everyday fact of life. So sports and society is the same to me. I try to teach and drop jewels with everything. But the theme is flip-flopping fans, frauds who root for players instead of teams, and people who are not geographically connected to the location of the team that they root for?
Well, two questions. One first. Unbiased Sports says, no, I only like great players. I'm not into religion, so I don't subscribe to teams. And then you have
well, teamwork makes the dream work. And the great player is nothing without his teammates. Next.
Wendell Pertiller, he says sports is like modern day plantation. The draft is like a slave auction.
It is. I've been saying that. But you won't be in slavery anyway. Anybody who works for somebody who's not themselves, anybody who pays taxes, anybody who participates in this corrupt economic system to get a bag or pay a bill, you are a slave too. Next. You are a slave too. I'm a slave too. I often said that the NFL draft is the modern day plantation, it's the modern day slave trade. I've been said that. They strip them naked, they poke them, they prod them. It's almost like they walking through the slave market. They grab their muscles, they make them jump high, all that. And okay, yeah, they're well paid, but you're just a well paid slave. And here's the proof. Whenever somebody violates their contract, whenever somebody decides to hold out for more money, the announcers and the radio people always say he can't do that because he signed the contract and he's property of the Philadelphia Eagles. He's property of the Washington Redskins. He's property of the Dallas Cowboys. How can they call another human being property of a team and he not be a slave? Can somebody answer that one? Wait. So yes, brother, I agree. I think it's a book called The $100 Million Slave Hack that we used to have.
The $40 million.
$40 million slave. Yeah, it's real. It's real. And here's another one for you. Salary, slavery. Salary, slavery. Salary, slavery. Job, just over broke. No bet.
Tell me where
1409 Erie Avenue, blackandnobel.com. If you want knowledge dropped on you like this, we got all kind of DVDs. Brother Umar Johnson, Brother Taj Bey, Brother Polite, Seti. We got all the DVDs here, all the knowledge here. You know what I'm saying? The elder Dick Gregory. You know, and this is some of the inner knowledge that I channel when I drop these jewels on y'all. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, NFL not for long. Plantation theory. They call them owners. Why do you think they call them owners? They own the team. They own the rights. They own the players. Why do you think they call it a field? Come on, man. It's child's play for me, but I understand that the best way to hide something is to put it right in front of somebody's face. Sports is also war. Here you go, the aerial attack. The quarterback is the field general. They throw what? The bomb. What do they call somebody who's a bruising running back on the goal line? A tank. Come on, man. The ground game. The aerial assault, the ground assault. What do they say they need for Carson Wentz? Carson Wentz needs more weapons. Words all go together now. You're going to tell me that I'm crazy. No, I'm going to tell you that you're stupid. It's really true.
Look at what they did 9/11. They made that into a whole sports event.
Yeah. Here goes something else. I'm trying to think of the gentleman's name. Pat Twillie. Well, it might be wrong, but it's a guy that played for the Arizona Cardinals. Pat Twillie, Pat Sweeney. He was number 40. He was a good safety, a great special teams player. He wanted to sign up for his country, and he quit the NFL, bro. This is real talk, real turkey. He quit the NFL, joined up, and was in the special forces in the Rangers, and he got killed over in Afghanistan. And the United States lied about it. They lied about it and said that he got killed in action, which he did. But he didn't get killed by terrorists. He got killed by friendly fire by his own people. And the NFL and the United States military got together and lied about it, bro. So I can't honestly and truthfully tell you that I am not the angry black man, because James Baldwin, one of the greatest literary geniuses in the United States, said, to be conscious And to be black in America, state of rage. Flavor Flav said, I got a right to be hostile. My people are being persecuted. But Flav is a comedian. James Baldwin is a literary scholar. I'm both. So I'm in the middle of both of them. I'm enraged, and I feel like I have a right to be enraged because my people are being persecuted. Me personally, I don't get persecuted too much. All my persecutions are paranoias in my own head. The same people who claim they hate me, you can go to my picture, my Facebook and Instagram page and see me posted up with several Caucasians smiling and grinning, having a great time at the cigar bars, the Flyers games, the Eagles games. And while I have negative interactions with people of all races, I have more positive than negative. I get stopped by the cops. There's never no death and destruction. There's never no body in the street because my paperwork is correct, my attitude is correct, and generally they don't want no trouble. They just want to get home to their wife and kids. I'm not saying that you don't have disrespectful, ignorant gangster cops, but you also have disrespectful, ignorant gangster citizens. And sometimes when those two things meet, things escalate and careen out of control. So I don't get the typical black man stuff. I don't allow my feelings for females who I may or may not be involved with to make me hate on my brother. I don't allow being told no to a sexual advance or a romantic advance to make me automatically yell and scream and call a female a B or a lesbian or a dyke out her name just because she decided not to share a moment with me. See, I don't do these type of things. I don't call people only when I need something. I don't call people only on payday. I don't sit around and smoke and drink with folks and then as soon as they leave start talking trash about them and spreading their business in the street. Now, I will tell you that you will ask me, what does this have to do with sports? It has a lot to do with sports because these are the type of people who are in sports now. These are the type of people who are in law enforcement now. Fake clones who never was nothing before Instagram. Sort of like Big Brother Dean Almighty, whose name was Samuel Sycophant from Bubblefuck, Montana. But all of a sudden he gets a football scholarship to the University of Georgia and plagues root by root and on campus. This is why I never pledged a fraternity. Because I was who I was before I got to Almighty whatever university. I was what I was before I met the Sigmas and the Kappas and the Qs. I was what I was before I met a Blood or a Crip or a 7%er or a born-again Christian or a Jehovah's Witness. I was who I was before all of that. I don't need that. What is a religion without believers? How can you have a religion without believers? Can you? Can you have a church without people in it? Can you have a star player without somebody to pass him the ball? Can you have a great quarterback without a great offensive line to block for him? The question and the answer is no. So the brother who said that he's a fan of great players and not great teams, I hear you. But how can you have a great player without a great team? How can you be a great player if your team ain't great? How can you be great when your team loses all the time? This is the individual me mentality that's holding us back, not only as a people, but as a sport. Basketball pretty much has been unwatchable all year. You got teams who have no chance to win, battling against teams who have no chance to lose. The reason I know it's true is Larry Bird, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Dominique Wilkins, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Dennis Rodman, none of these players ever set out games that wasn't injured. You need to rest. You need mental upkeep. Vacation day. What kind of bull crap is that? So the point I'm trying to make is we got ingrained bitchism in sports right now. We got ingrained womanhood. And actually, that's an insult to women because women go harder than guys in some situations. I'm not going to put nobody on blast, but right now, where we at out on the strip, the people out there that's getting busy is the women. And all over Philadelphia right now, you can check strips and tracks and clubs and women out there getting busy. Now, that's not a salute, and that's not a negative thing. That's just saying that just like men have fallen off our jobs in real life, falling off our jobs at the home, we've fallen off our jobs in the street. We can't even stand up for the track no more. Women got to come track for us now. Women got to come hold guns for us now. Women got to come and organize our pockets and our street organizations the same way they organize our pockets and our businesses in the real world. And that's a shout out and a salute to the black woman, but God damn it, we shouldn't put her in that position. People don't even want their kids to play football no more. They scared. People ride bikes with helmets and elbow pads and knee pads. Come on, man. I still got scars on my elbows and knees from bike riding back in the day. Everybody got a Snake Hill in their neighborhood, right? Everybody got a Snake Mountain, a winding road that you ride your bike down, and that's almost like the test of manhood to get down that hill. And of course you done fell and scraped your knee and scraped your elbow, but that's part of being a man. You know, like we get it caught up. We think that who we having sex with and how much money we got in our pocket and what kind of car we drive determine manhood. The same way we think that the amount of points that we score per game, the amount of rebounds we score per game, the amount of touchdowns you score make you great. True. But once again, how could you get them points? How could you get them touchdowns without people around you? The greats build up other players. Michael Jordan wasn't necessarily great because he was great. He was great because he made Scottie Pippen great. He was great because he made centers who was garbage look good. The Chicago Bulls always had a hole in the middle after Bill Cartwright. Bill Cartwright was the last legitimate center that Chicago had. They was winning with Bison Dele. They was winning with Brian Williams. They was winning with Horace Grant playing center. They was winning with Luke Longley playing center, bro. Good Michael Jordan was. He didn't have to go join up with 2 or 3 superstars to get it done. And yeah, I talk good about LeBron. That was personal. But like I said, I can separate personal and separate business from opinions. And here's where it gets personal. Without Ray Allen, he don't got one of them chips, do he? I remember that game. They was wheeling the NBA title on the floor because San Antonio was up 5 points with 23 seconds left. They brought that NBA trophy on that floor because everybody swore that Miami was going to lose. Ray Allen don't hit that shot, they lose that series. Kyrie Irving don't have the series of his life last year, they lose that. And here's one for you that you might not have even thought about. They played the Dallas Mavericks in a championship, and LeBron let Jason Kidd and Jason Terry guard him in the post at his size. You're 6'9", 260. How do you let Jason Terry stop you in the NBA Finals? Now, these are all legitimate points that don't have nothing to do with hate. And I categorically deny, and I vehemently detest you flip-flopping, ballless frauds who think that just because somebody said something against your fanboy hero, that means I hate him. This is a fact. They did lose to the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA championship, right?
6 games.
6 games, they did. LeBron played guard, right? Jason Terry and Jason Kidd played guard, right?
Yeah.
How were they able to stop LeBron? It shouldn't have happened, but it did. LeBron stops himself sometimes. So that's not hate. That's a legitimate point. So you got to stop getting in your feelings. You guys got to stop wearing these briefs and go back to boxers and let your balls hang a little bit. Because a lot of y'all balls is tight. Because you stay getting fucked.
Well, to finish the comment that Wishbone was saying via sports.
Sports from the trap, baby.
He said,
trap.
I was religious with the Knicks and missed all of MJ's greatest moments because I was too busy hating on a religious fan.
Man, religion, man, to me, caused more problems than it bring people together. Some of the greatest battles in the history of the world have been waged over religion, whether it be Muslims against Christians, whether it be Buddhists against Hindus, whether it be Protestants against Catholics, Jews against Gentiles. Religion has murdered and killed and set off more death and destruction than almost any other entity known to man. The most segregated time in America is Sunday during church. Black people go to black churches, white folks go to white churches, Jewish people go to synagogues. Well, they don't go on Sunday, but you know what I mean. Right. And here's an interesting story that I learned from some of my coworkers. I go to work with guys, third, fourth generation Polish immigrants, third, fourth generation German immigrants, third, fourth generation Russian immigrants. It's not just Irish and Italians, okay? But I say that to say that similar to in West and South Philly, where you have an Irish church and you have an Italian church, the reason that you have German, Polish, Irish, and Italian churches is simply this. Each group of immigrants who came over here from Europe and tried to worship at the church of the group that was already here was told in no uncertain terms, we don't like your type here, get the fuck out. Now, this is what was going on with Europeans. So my point to you is Christianity has never unified them together. What makes you think it's going to unify us with them? Because the reason that you have a Polish church on Allegheny Avenue, the reason that you have a German church on Allegheny Avenue, and the reason that you have a Russian church, all Christian churches, all professing to be Christians, all professing to be Catholic, Jesus and Mary, you know, statues outside. But like I said, the Polish people will turn in no uncertain terms, you can't pray here with us Germans, we don't like your type. So when the Polish got their church and the Russians came, you know what they did? The same thing that the Germans did to them. No, you can't pray here, you got to get your own church. That is the history of America. So it's not just oppressing black people. It's oppressing people, period. Our founding fathers came here. Well, they're not my founding fathers, but the people who so-called found this country full of other people. We'll just go with the story for now.
Right.
They came here to escape religious oppression. In their own country, that's why they came here. And persecuted everybody else. Hurt people, hurt people. Hurt countries, hurt other countries. Crazy people make other people crazy.
Yeah, I think that, you know, that whole thing with LeBron James and Steph Curry should be kind of
yeah, it's like I said, it's, you know, I wish Red Pill Rescue was here because he's better with gematria and the numbers and the symbolisms, the light versus the dark. They always play around with these images. I'll give you another image. Fair. They did a photo shoot. I don't know if you remember the King Kong movie, when King Kong had the woman and he was on the Empire State Building with one hand, he had the woman in his arm and the other hand. Right. They did the exact same thing with LeBron James and Vanity Fair. And you could probably superimpose it and show the King Kong image and then LeBron James image. And I propose to you that the Tavistock Institute branch of mind control and manipulation, where their whole job is to create images in people's mind, stereotypes that people act on as if they're almost like rote dreams. It's like under these myths and stereotypes without even knowing that you operate under them. I'll give you the perfect example. When you're playing basketball and you got the guy with the white guy with the moppy hair and the baggy shorts in the corner, whether he can shoot a jump shot or not, what does everybody say? Watch him, you got a shooter.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It's like a stereotype that the white guy got the good jump shot, but he ain't got no dribble, he can't drive to the hoop. It's like Christian McCaffrey. Here's another one. Christian McCaffrey. I don't know. He went to Stanford. He was a contender for the Heisman Trophy. Nobody had any doubt that he was going to be a great NFL player. But all draft, all people kept saying was, well, what position is he going to play? We don't know what position he can play. Well, for 4 years, he's been dominating college football as a running back. So why can't he play running back? You want to know why? Because he's white. racial stereotype and myth making is so deep that now it's even affecting white guys because they don't think that the white guy has the skill set to play running back. You know what that means? They don't think he's fast and quick enough. He doesn't have enough athleticism. No, it is that. Why else? No. It is that, bro. Name a white running back. Name a white running back. They don't draft white guys to play running back because they don't think that they have the skill set. The same reason they didn't draft black guys to play quarterback because they didn't think we had the mind state. I'm telling you, bro. Well, I agree with white running backs every year in college that don't get drafted.
Now, listen to what I'm saying, though. I agree with what your point is, but I think that the reason why they don't draft white running backs is because they don't be effective unless they're power back. Like, you know.
But why aren't they effective? Why aren't they given a chance? Because of the stereotype that people have.
I mean,
what chance? The boy from Cleveland was good. He, like you said, he was a power back. They don't give the white guys a chance.
The white power backs be pretty good, like,
but they don't give the shifty guys a chance.
But like the shifty guys, they don't.
How come they can play wide receiver? Amendola, Wes Welker. So how come they can't play running back?
Running back is a whole different position than wide receiver.
But they should be able to give the chance to be proven that they can't do it. Don't just go by the stereotype. And if you don't believe me, give me one white cornerback. Give me one.
White cornerback?
You don't have them because they don't think they can play the position.
They've proven not to be good. Jason Sehorn, they gave him a chance. Right?
How many years ago was that?
That's why they don't do it no more.
You can name one white quarterback in 20 years.
Yeah, wait. Jason Sehorn was given a chance though, and he proved to be wrong.
I'm not saying the stereotype don't have no validity to it.
That's the thing about stereotypes.
I'm just saying.
But it'll be offensive when we deal with their quarterback. You know what I'm saying? But
I'm just saying that I don't like that stereotype because it's the same stereotype that they got on us. Their stereotypes is limited to their physical abilities. But our stereotypes is our mental ability. They question our thought.
But see,
they question their ability to run and jump.
But it's based off of the thing that makes it offensive with the black quarterback thing is like it's based off of them knowing that we can do it, but they oppressing us. It's with the white running back, they know they can't do it. That's two different things. Now,
so actually, you are exposing black superiority. You like a black Jimmy the Greek right now.
Hey, go what you want. I mean,
that's why they fired Jimmy the Greek. They didn't fire Jimmy the Greek because what he said wasn't true. They fired Jimmy the Greek because what he said was true. They did breed us like slaves and cattle to be productive workers, and that does have something to do with why we so good at sports.
When you take a whole bunch of African tribes and then you breed the strongest ones, in physical activity, they're going to be the fucking superior ones. That shit is not rocket science.
Yeah, but this is the thing that I'm trying to talk about. They fired that man for telling the truth. And what he said wasn't offensive, it was true. This is what makes
American nightmare that they want to sweep under the rug, you know what I mean? Because they know that everything pertaining to slavery, they want to rid that out of American history.
But it is American history. You can't rid it.
Yeah, that's
like what makes America. How did America become an empire in less than 400 years?
It makes them a contradiction. The land of the free.
It is a contradiction.
But that's why they hide it.
You can't hide it. It's in the Constitution.
Land of the free, but we got slaves.
Yeah, all men are created equal. Meanwhile, put Sally Hemming in the basement. Keep the little mulatto kids in the basement. But from the beginning, it's been a contradiction. That's all people like me and Colin Kaepernick try to say. You guys get mad at me, but you love Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali said the same thing. Ain't no Viet Cong ever called me no nigga. You want me to go 10,000 miles away and shoot some little brown Vietnamese people who ain't did nothing to me, who look more like me than you. And you won't even stand up for me back here in America when you got your Ku Klux Klan brothers hanging and swinging us from trees. They blowing little black kids up out the bus. You try to go to school in Boston, they firebombing the buses. And trying to say with America, what LeBron James is trying to say is, believe it or not, for whatever reason, Donald Trump's presidency has ignited a rage and a wave of white guilt and white hate, bro. Almost like white power, like this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's real, bro. It's real.
It's always been there. It was just laying dormant.
He just give it a spark.
Yeah, it was laying dormant.
He just give it a spark. And what I'm telling you is, one of the fears is that somebody like me may actually get on the radio. Somebody like me may actually be given a position to speak in front of large groups of people. And a bunch of people will start to think like, wow, that brother's making a lot of sense. Wow, I never looked at it like that, but that's true. So the same way that he sparked rage and indignation, we could spark peace and prosperity. And you wouldn't even need peace and prosperity. All you would really need was for people to start thinking. Hey, don't think outside the box. I'll tell you, people don't think at all. And I'll give you the example. The other day, I'm at Five Guys. And I generally don't eat red meat, but when I do, I like Five Guys. It's fresh ground, and they show you where they get the meat from. They show you where they get the potatoes from. Today's potato is from Idaho. Today's meat is from whatever. They have it right there on the little grease board. They tell you where they get it from. So when I eat a hamburger, I like it fresh made, not none of that frozen patty stuff. The ground burger and Five Guys is pretty good. I'm in it the other day, so I get a burger. I said, "Oh, thank you, Tamika." She's like, "How you know my name?" Totally forgetting it's right across. It's right there on a chain. Now she didn't have it on her nameplate, but she had a chain and it had Tamika on there. Right. So I was like, "How you doing, Tamika?" And she was like, "How you know my name?" Now, like people are really like unaware, bro. Like we kind of sort of clueless. Like we really been dumbed down, and these phones don't help. They don't help at all. I love the Instagram. I love Facebook. I love Twitter. But I'm able to put it down and have conversations where I make eye contact and physical contact with people. Because we physical creatures, we need contact. We need connection. Like we are isolated now with the earphones and the Dre beats and the 99 million cable stations. We never have to come outside. We don't interact with each other anymore. So these instances is causing problems and issues. For instance, when I go to a lot of these games, some of these fans is taking their life in their hands when you wear the other team jersey to an opposing fan base, because alcohol, once again, like I said, that's the devil's juice, bro. Alcohol gives people beer muscles. It gives people courage. A false sense of entitlement to say what you think you could say to somebody. Like
beer muscles.
They do. They get tough, man. They get tough. And when it's a whole bunch of people in Giants jerseys and 3 dudes in Eagles jerseys, things can happen. But usually it's the other way around. It's 500 dudes in Eagles jerseys and 4 dudes in Cowboy jerseys, and things go bad. I'm not the drunken, rowdy Eagle fan of your father. I do get drunk. I do get rowdy, but I've never put my hands on anybody in violence based on something related to football. Now, there was an incident 4 years ago in D.C., but you got to understand the backdrop to that. Chip Kelly had just got hired as the Eagles coach. The Riley Cooper incident had just happened, and we was opening up Monday Night Football in D.C. on a weekend, and it was 30,000 Eagle fans down there from Friday to Monday, and we had tore up their city the whole time. Took a couple of their chicks. Our squad, PTG, we had a bus excursion. We went on a bar crawl through Georgetown. Once again, I know this is going to be funny, but I'm sure a lot of people don't know what Georgetown is. Allen Iverson went to Georgetown. Patrick Ewing went to Georgetown. Sleepy Floyd, Dikembe Mutombo, Alonzo Mourning, some of the greatest basketball players in the history of the NBA went to Georgetown. And maybe some people don't know that Georgetown, George Washington, George's town. Georgetown University, George Washington, whatever. So Georgetown is in Washington. So unlike the football stadium, which ain't in Washington. And that's something else I'd like to talk about, linking up to fraud, fake-ass fans, and flip-floppers. The Philadelphia Eagles may be the only team in the NFC East who doesn't have multiple Super Bowl rings. Not only don't we have multiple, we don't have any. The Redskins have 3, the Giants have 4, and the Cowboys have 5. We don't have any. But you know what we do have? We have a stadium inside our city limits. We actually play in South Philadelphia. See me? I travel. I go to the games. When I went to go see the Eagles play the Redskins, I GPSed my system, and it did not say Washington, D.C. You know what it said, Solar? It said Landover, Maryland. When I went to go see the Eagles play the Giants in the Miracle at the Meadowlands Part 3, I did not go to New York City. It said East Rutherford, New Jersey. And when PTG Bird Gang took a trip down to Dallas on the Thanksgiving Day when Mark Sanchez beat the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, you know what the GPS said on my phone? It said Irvington, Texas. Didn't say Dallas. So I say all that to say that we are the only team that actually plays in the city that we represent. It does not mean nothing. To me, that means a lot. That not only a lot of you fans have never seen your team play, a lot of you don't even live in the city that you represent, and the team doesn't play in the city on its helmet. The Dallas Cowboys don't play in Dallas, Texas. The Washington Redskins don't physically play in Washington, D.C., and the New York Giants play in New Jersey. Those are facts, and all I talk are facts. And if you want to argue and debate facts, fine, but the facts don't give a fuck about your debate or your opinion.
Unbiased Sports says, my point is that we shouldn't be fans of a team because we miss the greatness of other players because we only focus on our team players.
I didn't miss the greatness of
Lawrence
Taylor.
Hating on other great players.
I don't hate on other great players. I didn't miss the greatness of Larry Bird. I went to several Sixers games and saw Larry Bird cook Dr. J. Just because I don't root for the Boston Celtics don't mean I can't respect the greatness of Larry Bird. I was a Sixers fan, and I had season tickets to 2004. I booed Kobe Bryant, but that don't mean I didn't respect his greatness. I booed Ray Allen. That don't mean I didn't respect his greatness. I booed Vince Carter, but that don't mean I didn't respect his greatness. So once again, brother, I digress. I appreciate your opinion, but I will agree to disagree with you. And I think I have broken down a few facts that support my argument against you. While I am not debating against you, I do not share your opinion. And I don't have a problem with you rooting for great players. The only reason I'm rooting for the Cleveland Cavaliers is because I think LeBron James is a great player. And after he made his stand on a racial incident, I'm rooting for him. I didn't know who I was going to root for because it's a win-win for me. If LeBron wins, all the LeBron James haters' heads will explode, and I'll get to talk trash. If Golden State wins, all the LeBron sexuals who wear all his sneakers and think he can do no wrong, their heads will explode. And I'll get to talk shit. So it don't matter either way to me. I'm a Sixers fan, so I could care less who wins.
So, yeah, I'm kind of rooting for LeBron just because I don't like Durant. And the reason why I don't like Durant is because what he did. He left Westbrook.
Okay, so why you ain't mad at LeBron for leaving Wade?
That's different.
I'm
going to tell you why it's different. Because
I'm not even going to talk.
This is why it's different. Wade was doing his thing, but they wasn't like a contender. He didn't just win a championship. They had won a championship, but their team was like demoralized at that point. You had Chris Bosh. They said they was going to come together, so they did the come together thing. That's different from Kevin Durant.
So you saying because they was drafted together, it was different?
Like that's what they said. It may not have been true, but that's what they said. They said
that's real. They built through the draft.
Yeah. So that's what they said. But Durant is a different situation. Durant, I go to Game 7 with that team. They beat me. We was up They was up 3-1 on them. So it had to be in your mind that I could beat this team. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
I leave that.
You said that if LeBron was playing with Cleveland and the Miami Heat
was their number one contender,
and they was up 3-1 on the Heat, and the Heat came back and beat them, and then he went and joined the Heat. I got it.
So it's just like, these are the people that put me up.
I agree with that.
So it's like, I know Westbrook like, damn. You go to that team, like all teams that you could have went to. You go to that team.
We was up 3-1. We ain't even need to get no new players. Really.
Like, exactly. We don't.
You just needed to play. You would have played better.
We would have played better. We would have won. Like, why do I have to go to that team? That's just like you ain't going to the Bulls. No, try to beat them. You gotta beat them. You gotta try to beat them.
Not that I didn't respect you. But my respect level for you just went up a lot higher because you was able to counterpoint me and actually get me to come around to your way of thinking, which is very, very difficult for anybody to do. There are college scholars and well-read authors who I done debated in here who couldn't get me to come around to their way of view. But you just did it. That's a salute to you. High five.
Oh, because it's different from the 90s because there was no way that Ewing was going to ever play for the Bulls. That was never going to happen. There was no way that, Reggie Miller was going to play for the Knicks. And eventually he beat the Knicks.
And the only reason Barkley went to the Suns was because he demanded the trade because he realized the Sixers were never serious about winning.
Right.
He didn't up and leave the Sixers and go to the Suns.
Exactly.
He told the owner, y'all not serious about winning. Trade me somewhere where I can win.
And that's understandable.
Yeah.
That's understandable. You don't leave a winning situation, a championship caliber team, to go to
the team that beat you when you was up 3-1, especially when, let's be honest, and once again, everybody say when you make comments about people that's not flattering or you make critical comments that's hate, no, that's reporting. That's what reporters do. You report the facts. Facts is Kevin Durant is one of the top 5 basketball players in the world. Some people will argue he's top 2. LeBron, Durant, LeBron, Westbrook, whatever. The point is, you are arguably the best basketball player in the world. 3-1. It's no way you let another team come back and win. And from what I saw, I don't remember the whole series, but from what I saw, if he'd have played a little bit better.
Yes, it was him.
Because he was the one folding down.
Right, it was him that folded down.
I seen Westbrook looking at crazy like, come on.
Man. Yeah, he could have took the game over and won the game. Like,
so, that is what happened, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, that shows mental weakness. Because your situation was totally different than LeBron. Y'all had a way better team than what Cleveland had.
Right.
And while we on the subject,
and then with all the stuff, his mom and all that.
You mad at Durant? I got you. You mad at Hart?
Who?
You mad at Hart? He could have stayed too.
Kevin Harden?
No, James Harden. People forget
James Harden.
Well, I don't blame Harden because he never would have been.
Yeah, because he was coming off the bench. Yeah, he was trying to be. Yeah, he was coming off the bench, and that's a different situation.
Yeah, but
I think that was the problem though. Like,
he could have stayed.
Yeah, he could have stayed, but like
he could have made his money.
That's why they wasn't a championship caliber team because after he left.
You know what's crazy? This is my problem with fans. I showed a boy the picture of the series when LeBron won his first run, when they played Oklahoma City. And it was Durant, Westbrook, and Harden. He said, man, that's Photoshop.
What?
He said the picture was Photoshop. Because he didn't remember that Harden used to play for Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Because it's just like people's memory ain't that was 5 years ago.
Right.
That was 2012. It's 5 years. You got to reprogram the hood because in 5 years.
Yeah, you got a short attention span.
Yeah.
I mean, a short memory span.
Yeah, look how many people that died. Look how many drug dealers that got arrested. Babies that been born.
Yeah.
Cases that been dropped. Rappers that come and gone. You know. Listen, French Montana and them is old school now. Rick Ross is old school.
Right.
Drake been in the game almost 10 years, bro. That's how. So when we be talking about time, we got to realize my son only know Michael Jordan is the crying meme guy. He said, "Why the crying meme guy? Why you got the crying meme guy on your sneakers?" That's what he asked me. He said, "OG, can you get the sneakers? Can the camera show the sneakers?"
Oh no, I can't.
Oh, well, I got the ones on, right? And these ain't really, these are the original ones, first ones they made, not the red, white, blue, the all white ones. These ain't the ones I'm talking about, but I had another pair. They was like the 93, the playoff 93, the series that he came back against the Knicks. Or you said that you would never remember the series the Knicks was up 2-0 and Mike they won 4 straight. Had on the 93s. I got a pair of them at the crib, and I wear them sometimes. It got a 23 on the front. On the side, it got the black Nike symbol, and in the back, it got the red jump band. So every time I rock them, young boys be like, "Yo, OG, how you get the Nike symbol on the same sneakers?" And I'll be looking at them like, but Brother Hakeem and all my people here at Black and Bell. Exactly. Right. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. See, you catch on. See, that's why I bang with you. You don't have to be told. You have a curious mind. Like, you're like, okay, OG, that sounds crazy, but wait a minute. Oh, I mean, see, that's why I fuck with you, because most people just get stuck at they sound crazy and tune me out. Like, I can't help it that I'm older than you and I've seen some things that didn't exist when you was born. So I'm working with a different framework. So what I'm saying is, I told him that Jordan used to work with Nike. Right. He only made the break after he retired and came back with the Wizards.
Right.
Then he broke on his own. All Jordans before 1999 got the Nike sign on. After 1999, only got the Jordan sign on. So again, I try to use everything as a teachable moment. At first, I was clowning these dudes, thinking they dumb because you don't know that. So I had to humble myself and realize that everybody ain't gonna have the time or the inclination or the ability or the fascination to read all these books or take the time to break down and go through some of these DVDs like I do. So everybody not gonna have the wealth of information that I have to just come right off the top of the head with an explanation for something.
Well, I tell my nephew, like, you're not gonna really understand totally or have these type of conversations until you see shit change.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Kobe is the greatest. It's going to be someone else that come up that they're going to be the. So when you see that, you're like, well, oh, that's why he was saying.
Yeah, see,
because it wasn't till that era that I was thinking like, because I started watching basketball with Jordan. So
that's what most people did.
Right? Yeah, you had
I'm gonna be like
they said Wilt Chamberlain was the greatest. O.J. Bellin, and they, what I'm saying, they got the opinion.
We caught that too. The people that you probably was dealing with was talking about Dr. J. If anybody was talking about Wilt, that's past my generation. Because Sonny Hill, my dad and them, anybody that was probably, I was born in 68. So Wilt probably stopped playing in 73. If you was born after 73, you don't know shit about Wilt. You only know Wilt as the volleyball boy, and he be on the sports Jones with the white broads, and he had the 20,000 women. You don't really know him as a superstar basketball player.
I don't know as a player. I heard.
You heard.
When I think of Wilt, I think of him holding that 100 sign.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think about him actually performing.
Now I
never seen him perform.
I caught the tail end of Wilt because, like I said, I was born in 68. Older, he was going up against a young Kareem. That was the rival. Kareem used to play for the Milwaukee Bucks, and Wilt played for the Lakers. So Wilt won one and Kareem won two because Wilt was old and Kareem was young.
Right.
So I was probably like 5 years old. I remember it, but vaguely. But the point I'm making is, when I was watching Wilt was just a big old man with bad knees. I mean, he was all right, but he wasn't what my dad, that's Wilt Chamberlain. I'm like, this nigga, he can barely move. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm rooting for Kareem. But then when Doc came, that changed everything. He came with the big afro and the dunking and everything.
Right.
So we think Doc is the best. The people that come after us, Michael Jordan. The people that come after Michael Jordan, Kobe.
Right.
The people that come after Kobe, LeBron. I don't know who's gonna take it now. Maybe Westbrook.
Westbrook probably.
Westbrook is
if he got to win.
He too emotional right now.
Right.
And he too crazy with the gear. Like he can't be marketed. He got torn. He ain't got to do nothing. Right. But if he want to be the face of the league, he gonna have to make some adjustments.
Oh well, I mean everything was controversial. Even remember the Jordan sneakers was controversial.
Jordan got banned. I tell people all the time.
Remember the first Jordan was banned, right?
Like Mike when he first came.
Yeah.
Mike bought the baggy shorts until Mike was the coochie cutters. Right. Mike was the first person with the baggy shorts.
Yeah, he was controversial.
Mike had a neck full of gold. You know how them down south rappers got like 30 small gold chains? Like, the East Coast boys, we got the big giant joints. Right. The down south boys, they got like the little Christian joints. You know what I'm saying? Cool.
Make sure you subscribe to Black and Nobel Books and also Black and Nobel Media. I'm gonna put the link in the description. Make sure y'all hit that subscription. Subscribe to Black and Nobel Media. We're trying to build that page up, so that'll be something you can do real quick for your boy Soul of Mind. And hit that notification sign too. That'll let you know when we live stream or when we post up a video.
Yeah, we out here, man. Yeah, we're gonna get back into some more sports. Like I said, what happened to LeBron James was kind of crazy. Uh, Basically, uh, he found out that his $20 million home in Brentwood was vandalized with the N-word spray painted across the front gate. And this is his words. Sitting here on the eve of one of the greatest sporting events that we have in sports, race, and what's going on comes again, James said. But I mean, look at it as if this is to shed light and continue to keep conversation going on my behalf, and I'm okay with it. My family's safe, and that's the most important. But it just goes to show that racism will always be a part of the world, a part of America. Hate in America, especially for African Americans, is living every day. And even though it's concealed most of the time, people hide their faces to say things about you when they see you. They'll smile in your face. It's alive every day. And he didn't introduce the subject. This was his response to a reporter's question. How do you feel about your home being vandalized? So he didn't go there to talk about this. The reporter asked him the question, and he used it as an opportunity to speak on the fact that, unfortunately, America, whether you love it or not, and what I'm getting ready to say is straight from the heart. I may be an African American from the motherland. I may have some roots somewhere back. If I trace birth, my ancestry through DNA.com far enough, I could probably find where my people come from. But as far as I know, my roots is in South Carolina, Virginia, and North Philadelphia. I'm as American and as Turtle Island as anybody else, and I want mine here in America. My people have fought and bled and died for every war that this country had, going back to Crispus Attucks, the first man killed in the Revolutionary War. And I'll be damned, Africa, to live like a king. I want to live like a king here in America. I want to be treated with respect and decency here in America like I deserve as an American citizen. I, for one, am sick and tired of the two-faced, hypocritical double standard that says that my life is less than somebody else's. A poor Vietnamese man was pulled off a plane recently, and the whole world went crazy and said we should boycott the airlines, and my God, you can't do that. But African American men and boys are murdered every day in the street, live on camera by law enforcement, and the world shrugs. The world justifies our murder by saying, oh, he had a criminal record. Well, how did you know he had a criminal record? And having a criminal record is no justification to be murdered in the street or a traffic stop. Selling cigarettes illegally in New York is no reason to be choked out and killed live on camera. And for people to try to justify that is almost insane. It really is. This is a country where we give drug dealers more time than we give child molesters, and we want to talk about justice and equality. I have several friends, through faults of their own, they decided to sell drugs. That's on them. They're doing life in prison. But you tell me, one drug dealer who ever had to go out and advertise that he had drugs. What I know about drugs, and I'm no expert, they come looking for you. Nobody would sell drugs if people wasn't buying. You tell me who asked to get molested. I don't think it's one person that ever asked to get molested. People ask for drugs, but you give drug dealers life and you let child molesters like Jared go after 5 years. Explain that to me about America. And you want to talk to me about sports. You want to talk to me about sticking to sports. Okay, here's some more sports. Jerry Sandusky. How was he allowed to get away with what he was allowed to get away with for so long? Because his defenses were good. Penn State won football games, so everybody looked the other way. Looked the other way. Because in some places in America, Happy Valley is one of them. Tuscaloosa, Alabama is another one. Tallahassee, Florida is another one. Is more important than life. Just like in Louisville and Lexington, Kentucky, basketball is more important than life. It's more important than life. It is. And when you are the football coach of Alabama, when you are the basketball coach of Kentucky, when you are the soccer coach of Manchester United, you are endowed with almost superhuman powers. You have the ability to control a player's time, which means you have the ability to control the amount of points, goals, or money he can generate on and off the field. You can't get them lucrative shoe contracts if you ain't slam dunking the basketball, if you ain't kicking the goal in the net. So therefore, the coach is a very, very important person. Now, coach to manage people, and you can't manage yourself. Coaches yell, scream, and holler, and talk greasy to people, and try to motivate them to do better. One of my problems when I played football is the offensive line and the defensive line coaches would be big, fat, spaghetti and pasta eating guys around and run and sweat. Coach, it would work a lot better if your stomach wasn't touching your toes. You wasn't sweating like a stuck Russian racehorse every time you walked in the locker room. You should practice what you preach, coach, but you should also preach what you practice. I could get up here and tell you about health and wealth because I have practiced it. I've gone from a 4X. This is a large t-shirt, folks. It's a large t-shirt with room to spare. And I'm not skinny. I'm solid. But I was 273 pounds. I'm 218 pounds because I have a bad Achilles. And I could not stand the weight on my Achilles. Everybody in my family is diabetic except me. The reason I'm not diabetic is because I changed my diet and my lifestyle. I didn't want to change it, but I had to. Point I'm trying to make as this relates to sports. No pain, no gain. You got to sacrifice. You want the bag, you want the glory, you got to go through the pain and the bullshit story. It's just no way to make it without struggling. See, everybody want to run without walking. Everybody want to walk without crawling. Everybody want to crawl without being born. Through pain, struggle, and misery to get to the glory. Everybody just want the glory. But if you had the glory without the pain, you wouldn't even appreciate the glory. We don't struggle to keep struggling. We don't hustle to keep hustling. The whole object of struggling and hustling is so you don't have to struggle and hustle no more. Who hustles to keep on hustling? That's ass backwards. And I propose to you that we have a lot of ass backwards people in sports. Shaq said he ain't never cashed an NBA check. His whole life, he's been living off movie endorsements, advertisement money, movie and record deals. Now, you will laugh at this, but Shaq may be one of the few MCs who has never had anything but a platinum hit. Every one of Shaq's albums went platinum. And yeah, a lot of it had to do with his crossover NBA success, but Shaq was actually one of the few NBA, NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, MMA, high hood boxing, whatever you want to call it, celebrities that got involved in music and hip hop and actually was serious about it. Deion Sanders made a corny song all about the money. AI, my man, I love him to death. He came out as Jules. You know, a couple other dudes, Chris Webber, dibbled and dabbled, Kobe dibbled and dabbled. You know, they say Le'Veon Bell from the Pittsburgh Steelers got bars, but actually, really, nobody really did it like Shaq. Shaq got a song with Method Man and RZA called No Hooks. That's fire. Shaq had a song with the Fushnickets. Shaq fool, and we ain't got fire. Shaq had a song with Fat Joe and Big Pun called Who Will Stop the Rain. So everything that Shaq did on the hip hop too. Yeah, he had a joint with Onyx. So everything that Shaq did, he respected the culture and was serious about it. Yeah. You can't stand the rain. It was on the joint, the Life After Death joint. So my point with that was that Shaq was really serious about what he was doing, and very few celebrity MCs are serious about what they do. I'm serious about what I do. I'm not a celebrity. I don't pretend to be one. I know a lot of people don't be, but ain't nobody paying me $1,000 to walk through their club. Ain't nobody giving me no money to come speak at no event. Now, I could walk down South Street tonight and probably get 1,000 likes and handshakes and hugs, but that don't translate into no money. So I mean, I'm sure it could if I was to develop a marketing and promotional strategy. But like I told you, I just do this. I can promote off of what I do, that's fine. But I don't have the time nor the energy to sit down and market and promote myself. I just do myself. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's a term of suicide. I do myself.
So been another installation of Sports Talk with Brother EJ. Once again, we go live. I guess 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock every Friday. But go ahead.
Vinny Curry, you gotta earn some of your sacks, bro. You one of the least productive sack men for the money. You count 9 million against the cap. You only got 2.5 sacks. That's got to improve. Real quick, Carson Wentz is the last rated quarterback in red zone touchdown efficiency. Carson Wentz is 13.9%. The highest is Marcus Mariota with 33.3, Tom Brady at 32.2, Andrew Luck at 30.3, and Aaron Rodgers at 29.5. Now, that has a lot to do with the fact that we don't have too many weapons in the red zone to help Carson Wentz out.
But do now, right?
They do now. Alshon Jeffries, Torrey Smith, and they got a 6'5" wide receiver from North Carolina named Max something or another who they think is going to help them out in the red zone. And they still have Dorial Green-Beckham, who I can't believe at 6'5", 240 and can run a 4.5 40. I don't know what he's doing out there. I mean, those statistics and those measurables as a wide receiver are similar to LeBron's measurables as a point guard. I mean, he's not necessarily a point guard, but he can play point guard. So 6'9", 250 as a point guard is almost as crazy as 6'4", 240 as a wide receiver and can run a 4.5 40. That man should be illegal in 3 states. And the fact that he's been unproductive for 2 NFL teams, the Titans and the Eagles, boggles my mind. So hopefully that will improve Carson Wentz's red zone touchdown percentage, because the object of the game is to score. And one of the reasons the Eagles lost so many close games last year is in the red zone, they had to settle for field goals instead of touchdowns. And the Phillies, unfortunately, have the worst record in the Major League Baseball right now. But I'm still rocking Philly.
With that being said, we're going to sign out. Peace, peace, peace. And we out of here.
Word.